Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were meant for something more? Like deep down there's this fire in you that you could achieve incredible things, if only you knew how to start. Maybe you've had dreams of wealth, success, or freedom, but the road ahead felt foggy. Like you were standing at the edge of a forest with no clear path. That's exactly where a young man, struggling writer named Napoleon Hill found himself, until a single conversation changed everything. A conversation that would eventually lead him to uncover the secret formula behind the most successful people in history. Hello, I'm Bharat, and welcome to Audiofybooks, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. So here's how the story begins. Back in the early 1900s, Hill was assigned to interview the steel magnate Andrew Carnegie. What was supposed to be a short interview turned into a life-changing mentorship. Carnegie challenged Hill not to write another article, but to spend the next 20 years of his life studying the world's most successful people. And so he did. From Henry Ford to Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt to Alexander Graham Bell, Hill spent decades digging for patterns, principles, and insights. What made them tick? What separated them from everyone else? The result was a simple yet powerful discovery. Success isn't luck. It's a science. And like any science, it can be learned, applied, and repeated. Now imagine you had the chance to sit down with a millionaire, someone who built their empire from scratch, and they whispered in your ear the exact steps to create wealth. Not just money, but real fulfilling success. That's what this book feels like. And it all starts with one word: desire. Not the casual kind of desire like, I'd love to have a nice car someday, but a burning obsession. Hill says that every great achievement begins as a dream that refuses to die. Think of desire like fuel. Without it, the engine of your life won't even start. And the bigger your desire, the more power you have to push through obstacles. He tells the story of Edwin C. Barnes, a man who had one obsession: to work with Thomas Edison. Not for him as an employee, but with him as a business partner. The problem? Barnes had no money, no connections, and no education. But he had desire, and that was enough. He literally jumped on a freight train to Edison's office and boldly declared his intention. While he didn't get the partnership immediately, he stuck around, worked humble jobs, and waited for his chance. Years later, when Edison needed someone to sell a new invention, Barnes seized the opportunity and made a fortune. Why? Because he had already decided, long ago, that he would not settle for anything less. Next comes faith. And no, not just religious faith. This is belief in yourself, your dreams, and your purpose. Hill says that faith is the bridge between your desires and their reality. But here's the twist. Faith isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. How? Through repetition, through telling yourself again and again that you will succeed. This is where autosuggestion comes in. It might sound weird at first, basically talking to yourself. But think about it. We do this all the time. We tell ourselves stories, whether we realize it or not. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. Those thoughts are shaping your life. So Hill flips the script. He teaches you to feed your subconscious mind with affirmations, spoken aloud with emotion, every day. Not just empty words, but vivid, emotional declarations of who you are becoming. Let's make this real. Imagine waking up each morning and saying, I am a magnet for success. I have the ideas, the drive, and the determination to create wealth. Say it enough times with belief, and your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. And once your subconscious believes it, your actions begin to align with that belief. That's the power of autosuggestion. But belief alone isn't enough. You need specialized knowledge. Hill is clear about this. General education, like most of what's taught in school, won't make you rich. It's not about collecting random facts. It's about learning the right skills, the kind that directly move you toward your goals. He gives the example of Henry Ford. Ford had very little formal education, but he surrounded himself with experts, built mastermind alliances, and focused only on knowledge that served his mission. And this leads to one of the most powerful ideas in the book, the mastermind. This is the concept of surrounding yourself with a group of focused, positive, and ambitious individuals. People who challenge you, support you, and push you beyond your limits. Think of it like a battery. Alone, you have power, but when connected with others, your power multiplies. The right mastermind can become your secret weapon. Now let's talk about imagination. This is where ideas are born. Hill describes two types: synthetic imagination, where you rearrange old ideas into new combinations, and creative imagination, where entirely new ideas seem to just appear. Think about the biggest businesses today. Airbnb, Uber, Amazon, they all started with someone imagining a better way to do something. Imagination is where desire meets action. Of course, none of this matters without a definite plan. You can't just wish and hope. Hill says that vague plans produce vague results. You need a clear, actionable roadmap. And here's the best part. You don't need the perfect plan. In fact, most successful people started with imperfect plans. The secret? They acted anyway and adjusted as they went. Action is what separates dreamers from achievers. But the journey isn't always smooth. This is where decision and persistence come in. Hill studied hundreds of failures and found a common trait: people gave up too soon. Successful people, on the other hand, make decisions quickly and rarely change them. They persist even when things get tough. Think about Colonel Sanders. He was rejected over 1,000 times before someone agreed to franchise his chicken recipe. That's the level of persistence Hill talks about. And then comes the enemy of all progress: fear. Hill identifies 6 basic fears: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. These fears, especially the fear of poverty and criticism, paralyze people. But the good news? Fear is nothing more than a state of mind. And like any state of mind, it can be changed. Hill gives you tools to do just that, like focusing on gratitude, feeding your mind with positive thoughts, and practicing courage through action. He also dives into the power of the subconscious mind and the sixth sense. Those gut feelings, instincts, and flashes of insight that seem to come from nowhere. Hill believed that when you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your purpose, the universe begins to respond in mysterious ways. Call it intuition, divine guidance, or luck. It shows up when you commit fully. One of the most surprising chapters is about the power of sexual energy. Yes, you heard that right. Hill believed that sexual energy, when transmuted or redirected, could fuel creativity, drive, and genius. It's the strongest form of human energy, and most people waste it. But when you channel it toward your goals, it becomes a superpower. In the end, Hill brings it all together by reminding us that success isn't just about getting rich. It's about becoming the kind of person who attracts wealth naturally because of your mindset, habits, and purpose. It's about growing rich in courage, in confidence, in self-mastery. So if you take nothing else from this book, remember this: you have the power to shape your destiny. Right now, today. All it takes is a decision to desire something more, to believe in your ability, to act with faith, to persist when others quit, and to build a mind so powerful the world has no choice but to respond. This isn't magic, it's mindset. And if you apply even half of what Hill teaches, your life could look completely different a year from now. Thank you for listening to this summary. If this inspired you and you'd like more book summaries just like this, don't forget to subscribe to Audiofybooks. We're here to turn powerful books into powerful change in the simplest and most interesting way. Until next time, stay curious, stay ambitious, and remember, you have everything it takes to think and grow rich.